Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a different one. Today we are talking about products that were sent to me from a website called Octoly. Octoly is a website that sends you stuff for free in exchange for reviews. So it's kind of like an influencer on steroids and on a more like upscale level. I actually heard about this brand a couple of years ago and tried to sign up when I had a smaller channel. Like I feel like I had maybe like 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers. You do have to apply and they can either accept or decline you, but I believe they said that there was a waiting list or something, but I'm sure that was just because I didn't have enough subscribers. I didn't have the numbers that they wanted. But someone messaged me and said that I had 6 credits on my account. So you basically turn around and turn those credits into proposals. So you just write a proposal to the brand. Like there's a list of products in your free store and you write a proposal and they can either accept or decline it. Now I'm not paid, sponsored, or affiliated in any way to talk about Octoly or these products. I'm simply reviewing these products because that's my obligation, you know, in doing the website. So I'm not biased, I'm 100% honest. As always, you guys don't have to worry about that. So if you are an influencer, especially if you're a smaller one, I highly recommend getting on there and checking it out and seeing if you are eligible to make an account and start ordering stuff, because the stuff they have on there is legit. Like it's not these no-name indie companies that no one cares about or no one's ever heard of. Like it's legit stuff that's well known, very popular. I feel like I sound sponsored, but I'm not. I'm just like throwing some information out there to you guys that no one told me about. So yeah, if you guys want to see my thoughts on these products that were sent to me for free, then please keep watching. So this is the Kiko water eyeshadow in the shade 208. Whenever I see swatches of these or pretty much any talk of Kiko in general, this is the product that I see, and this shade in particular. So as you can see, it's just your basic like golden champagne shade. And I always see this compared to, what is that MAC highlighter that everyone loved? MAC Whisper of Guilt. And on this side, I want to start off with packing it on dry and not wetting my brush. So as you can see, it's not really packing much of a punch. It's not really shiny. It's not really like foiled like you would think it would be, like a really pretty foiled finish. It's not really that either. It's just kind of lackluster. And when I dip my brush into it, I really have to dig it in there because it's not a super soft, creamy product. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my brush. And even when you wet your brush, I mean, it definitely amps it up and makes it work better, but it's still not as intense as what I'd like. Okay, so just for the sake of experimenting, I'm gonna try a different brush. This is one that I usually use for packing eyeshadow all over the eyelid. I'm gonna get a lot on there and wet my brush really, really well. Okay, so this brush does work better with it. This is a Morphe, well, I don't know what it's called, but it's more of like a flat, small shader brush. It's got a little bit of fluff to it. So this actually works better than a flat shader brush like this one. So on the other side, just for the benefit of the doubt, I'm gonna try to apply it with my finger to see if that helps, because sometimes applying things with your finger kind of amps up the intensity. So, okay, right off the bat, that did help a lot. But the thing is, I don't like to use my finger because it's not precise. Okay, so I'm pretty shocked that the finger actually worked the best, and it looks more intense on the side where we wet the brush. This isn't my favorite. I will keep playing around with it. I will say I did use this the other day as a highlighter on my face and it did look really pretty. Again, it starts out pretty sheer. You do have to build it up quite a bit, but this is actually really pretty as a facial highlighter. Okay, so it is time to move on to the rest of my face products, but I forgot to mention the price and all that stuff, like all the deets for the Kiko water shadow, so we should probably get to that real quick. So you can find these on the Kiko Cosmetics website, which is kikocosmetics.com. I will have all the links and stuff below. So there are 32 shades and these are $12. That's a little pricey for a single shadow in my opinion, and for this to be like not up to par, it's a little up there. Moving on to the next thing, which I am very, very excited about. This is a cult favorite. So this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. So I'm on the Ulta website right now. You can find this in numerous places. You can find this at Belk. You can find this at Ulta. You can find this on the Estee Lauder website, Sephora. I threw up Ulta. It doesn't really matter where you pick this up though, but it says $42 and they have a pretty good selection of shades. To a degree. I mean, they have, I think I counted 38 shades. They have a ton of really fair and light and medium and tan shades, but when it comes to really dark, deeper shades, I'm a little underwhelmed. So this is oil-free, oil-controlling, non-comedogenic, so it won't clog your pores and break you out and stuff. Long-wearing, proven 24-hour wear, medium to full coverage, and a matte finish. It says it feels lightweight and comfortable, won't change color, smudge, or come off on clothes, so it's supposed to be transfer resistant, and lasts through heat and humidity. So I picked up the shade 2-in-1 Desert Beige, but I do find that this is a pretty good match for me. This is actually pretty perfect. So here's what the packaging looks like. It just comes in a really nice glass jar. I feel like this has been out long enough though to where this should be made with a pump. Also, I do have normal oily skin. I usually have a more oily T-zone, but I typically don't get shiny or greasy looking throughout the day. So my skin is actually pretty normalized and pretty balanced. I guess I should show you what I have to cover up. My skin's been doing really, really well lately, so I don't really have a whole lot to cover up. I mean, I basically just need a good evening. I'm gonna go ahead and start building this up. I did just have my wisdom teeth pulled, so I have to be a little more gentle and slow. This feels like I'm beating my face right now and it hurts. So from what I hear just in reviews and stuff, this tends to be a foundation that people with super, super oily skin and also people who break out tend to love. So this is just melting into my skin. It's blending out extremely fast and just really sitting on my skin nicely. Now right now it does have a pretty good luminosity to it, but I'm sure that's where it hasn't set and dried down yet. But as far as coverage goes, this seems to be a pretty good full coverage foundation, and I feel like this is something that you could definitely build up. Now keep in mind, I don't have a lot to cover up today, so that's why I'm not having to use as much product. I do want to make a video about the product that I've discovered that's been a game changer for my skin lately, so stay tuned for that. But right now it is 10:17. I'm gonna say 10:15 for our check-in time, but I can already tell that it's setting and drying down, and it is becoming more matte. Hopefully it doesn't get like a super flat matte finish because I don't like that. Even though I have oily skin, it's not so oily to where I need a matte finish. I typically don't like matte finish foundations, but right now this is looking very pretty, very fresh and healthy, and just flawless. My pores look minimized. So I went ahead and turned off my ring light because it was way too bright and washing me out. I've got a lot of natural sunlight coming in right now, so we're gonna use that. So moving on to the next cream product I have before powdering, I have a cream contouring stick. So this is actually from a brand that I've never heard of, but after looking, it's actually sold on Sephora, so that's pretty cool because I was afraid this would be hard to get your hands on. This is the Black Up contouring stick. This is $43, and that's pretty pricey for a contouring stick, but it is in Sephora, it is high-end. I get it, I'm coming to terms with it. I have the shade 00 Light Beige, so this is the lightest shade they have. They have 6 shades, and these are all double-ended in case I didn't mention that. There's a highlighting shade, like for brightening and stuff, and there's a contouring shade. So it looks like they have a pretty good selection of contour shades. Like it looks like the shade selection is pretty dark, so if you have a deeper skin tone, you should be able to find your contour shade in this, which is awesome. Its buildable creamy texture produces a powdery finish blending seamlessly onto the skin. It can be applied with a fingers, sponge, or a brush, resulting in a flawless look. Oh my god, why is it so bright in here? Okay, we're just gonna leave it there. I'm sorry that the light's fluctuating, guys. This is just, it's not working for me. So at the bottom, it actually gives you a little information about the brand, which is awesome since no one knows who it is or what it is. So it says Black Up is a French upscale beauty brand dedicated to women of color. Oh my god, that's awesome, so cool. The Paris-based salon is known for its range of professional quality makeup that is developed by women of color and answers the specific needs of darker skin tones. So although $43 is kind of expensive, you are getting 2 different shades in here. So you're getting 0.16 ounces in both sides, so 0.32 ounces total. I guess that's pretty normal for like one contouring stick. Oh, I just opened the highlighting side and this is what happened. It came out of the stick, so that's not good. Okay, the contouring side's in there pretty well, so that's a plus. Here's what it looks like. The packaging looks really nice. It kind of reminds me of Smashbox. So here's the highlighting side that fill out, and then here is the contouring side. So those are really pretty shades. However, I don't feel like the contouring side would be very good for contouring because it's actually pretty warm. I will say I do like the tone of the highlighting shade because it's not too light, it's not too cool, it's not too warm. I feel like this would be a really good like under the eye brightener. I will say I did wear the highlighting shade the other day as a concealer under my eyes to see if it had coverage or anything, but I was wearing the Estee Lauder Double Wear, so it's kind of hard to see which one's giving all the coverage. Yeah, it just glides onto the skin. It doesn't pull or tug or anything. I just made myself a goatee. No! Erase mistake. Erase mistake. Okay, so there is the highlighter shade on the center parts of my face. So I'm kind of shocked, to be honest, because I figured where it says it's a matte powdery finish, it would be kind of dry and it would kind of tug, but this is extremely creamy. It probably does give a little bit of coverage. I don't know about full coverage, but I wish it did give coverage because that would be awesome. It'd be like a 2-in-1. You wouldn't have to use concealer. I don't know if I would count on this if you have super dark circles. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the contour shade. That is so creamy. I feel like I sound sponsored or something. I'm really not trying to sound that way. That's so, calm down. I do want to see how fast this sets and how workable it is once it sets, because with the highlighter shade, I blended it, and I blended the area as I went instead of like applying all over and then going in and blending everything, because I want to see how hard this is to blend out when it starts drying. So it does seem like it starts setting pretty fast. Okay, this side's been setting for a little longer, so we're gonna see how creamy it still is. It's actually blending out pretty easy still. Okay, it kind of looks muddy from my nose. I would not contour with this anymore. Maybe I just applied too much. It looks really good. I really do like the tones of them. Even though the bronzer is too warm, I still like it for bronzing. I'm not a big contouring person anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. I will say I would work in sections. I wouldn't put this all over my face and then blend it out and let the other sections that you're not working on have time to dry. It did blend out, and I don't find that it really like pulled my foundation or moved my foundation or anything underneath. I should have zoomed you guys in before I went off camera and used a setting powder, because the finish of the foundation was looking so beautiful. I really expected it to be a super flat matte finish, but it held up. It's really pretty, kind of like natural luminosity. Like it was like my natural glows were coming through, which I really do appreciate. It doesn't look like a mask. It doesn't feel like a mask. It doesn't look heavy or thick or cakey on my skin. As far as the contour stick goes, even after using a setting powder, you can still see it. Like it didn't completely cover it up, but I do have a drugstore bronzer to show you guys. This is the No. 7 Match Made bronzer. So No. 7 products used to be sold at Ulta, like the makeup line, but when I go on there now, I can only see a few things and like all their skincare. So when I pull this up, I can only find it at Walgreens and Target. So this is $12.99. Again, this is the Match Made bronzer. They have 3 shades, and this is the shade Golden Sand. It's a really pretty like light tan kind of shade. It does have a little bit of warmth to it. It's not completely neutral, and it's not cool tone whatsoever. It's just your typical matte tan kind of bronzer. The shade isn't really unique or special or anything, but there's not really a whole lot you can do with bronzers. Okay, so I was kind of scared when I first laid it down, because it looked like a whole lot of product was like right there where I first laid it, but it's really, really easy to blend out and diffuse. But I will say, just start out with a light amount because this is pretty pigmented. I think I kind of underestimated it. But it just looks so natural, and it does give my skin such a beautiful dimension, and it also does kind of contour. I mean, obviously it depends on how you apply it. I do apply it like a more blown out contour, so it does contour my face as well. Okay, so we got some blush on. Now it's time to move on to some highlight. You guys know I'm a highlighter hoe. So this is an Ofra Cosmetics highlighter. This is the highlighter in the shade Blissful. This is $29 on the Ulta website. Blissful is a luxurious golden bronze highlighter with rose undertones. Oh my God, it's my favorite. I will say this is really dusty and very, very powdery. Like just a light tap of the brush and it goes everywhere. It just seems like it's not very pressed. Like it's just not firmly pressed in there. I just swirl my finger into it and hopefully you guys can see how much debris and powder is in the pan, but here's what the swatch looks like. It's a really, really pretty shade. I guess I can see the rose undertone when I swatch it. Ooh, I love it. Ooh. So it's really intense right off the bat. Whoa. So this is definitely not something that you would want if you like a more natural highlight. This is not something you can wear naturally. But I will say if you have a really fair complexion, this would probably be too dark for you because I can kind of see like where it's got that rosy bronze undertone to it, even though it looks really natural and really skin tone like it kind of mimics your skin tone. I feel like if you don't have the right skin tone, it would look almost like a bronzer on you. But I mean, I'm pretty light. Like this is as light as I get. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it up here too, because you know what? I wanna bathe in it. So I am so impressed. Like, successful videos like this don't happen that often. The only thing that I'm underwhelmed with is the Kiko eyeshadow. This is literally the only thing so far that I wouldn't recommend. So I'm gonna go about my day. It'll probably be about 7 or 8 o'clock at least before I get back on and do my final check-in of the night. Hey guys, so I'm back. My final check-in of the night is now 7:24, so we're gonna round up and say 7:30. So what I'm gonna do is go through each thing and give you guys my final thoughts. So the Kiko water eyeshadow is not something that I would recommend just because it's just kind of underwhelming. I think you guys pretty much understand how I feel about it now. I will say it did hold up pretty well. Like there's no fading or creasing or anything, so no problems with wear, but it's just lacking that punch. In my opinion, this just isn't worth the price. The Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, I'm actually pretty impressed with. Everything has held up very, very well on top. I really do like the finish of it. I love how it's not too matte, and I also love the wear of it. I love how it just holds up all day long. It looks really good on camera. However, I will say that it does look better on camera than when it does in real life. Because in real life, there are some areas of my face that don't look too great in person. So when I look up close, I'm not really impressed with how my T-zone and my under eye area look. My T-zone kind of looks dry and cakey, and it kind of looks like it's starting to settle in certain areas, like on my nose, like in my pores and stuff. The worst spot right now that I'm looking at is right here. It just looks kind of heavy and cakey, but it looks completely fine everywhere else. Like, it does not look like that anywhere else. But I mean, it really doesn't look bad. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like maybe a 4 or 5. Like, it's not that bad. It's just something that I noticed. My under eye area does look a tad bit dry. As far as the transfer proof claim goes, I agree and disagree. I agree because pretty much all day today, I haven't felt very good. So I've had my head in my hand like this all day long on both sides. And I mean, there is no finger marks, there's no fading or anything, so that's really impressive. But I will say I did have on sunglasses, and I have sunglass marks, and I only had them on for like 10 to 12 minutes. I'm extremely impressed with how it looks like in my cheek area and my jaw area, because usually bronzer in this little area right here tends to fade the fastest. Like, whenever a foundation fades, that's where it goes first for some reason, but it's held up perfectly. Like, it looks like I just applied my blush, bronzer, highlight, everything. Also, totally forgot to mention how it feels on my face. That's a pretty important factor. It feels surprisingly lightweight. I did not expect it to feel this light. I mean, I'm not clawing at my face. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing a mask. It feels very like breathable. I will say, if you have dry skin, probably want to stay away from this because I'm having that problem in an oily area. So if you have dry skin, I just feel like this would cling to all dry patches and just accentuate those. I would just say, if you have normal, oily, or combination skin, check this out because I'm pretty impressed. The Black Up contouring stick is another thing that I'm extremely impressed with. Now, I will say under the eyes, maybe creasing and maybe fading because of the highlighter shade. Again, I use concealer, so it's kind of hard to tell which is which. So I'll give you guys updates and stuff in the description box below. But I'm very impressed with how it looked before powdering and even after powdering. Like, everything held up really beautifully. Super creamy, pigmented, easy to blend out, easy to work with. I really do like this. It is pretty pricey. I don't know if I would personally purchase this myself, just because cream products like this, like cream contour sticks, aren't really my thing all year round. Like, I kind of go in and out of phases with them. So for me personally, I probably wouldn't pay the price just because I'm just too fickle with them. But if you're someone that does typically enjoy cream contour sticks, or if you're someone that has a deeper skin tone and have a hard time finding a good contour shade, I would definitely check into these. The number 7 bronzer, again, it speaks for itself. I mean, everything looks so good. I'm really impressed with how it blended out. It just looks creamy and soft and kind of milky on the skin. I love the color, I love the tone of it. I love how it held up all day long. I mean, again, it could be because of the foundation, but yeah, I would definitely recommend this. $13 for a bronzer is not bad. The Ofra highlighter, in my opinion, is bomb. This is such a beautiful, glowy, intense, long-wearing highlighter. I mean, look at this. I will say the only thing I don't like about it is that where I put this on my forehead, like in certain lights, it looks like I actually did apply a shimmery bronzer on my forehead. Like, you can kind of see like a rosy bronze tint right there, and it just looks like it doesn't really mesh with my skin very well. Now, on my cheeks, it looks fine. That's probably because I do have a blush on there, so it's kind of acting almost as a blush topper, whereas up here, I mean, I put bronzer right here, so it should be like a bronzer topper, and maybe that's what it's acting like. Maybe that's why it does look like I have a shimmery bronzer up there, but I mean, it still looks good. I mean, most people probably wouldn't notice that, but I do feel like this is pretty universal for anyone above like a light skin tone. So I'm pretty shocked at how successful this video was. Usually that never happens. Usually we have multiple duds. I mean, the Kiko eyeshadow is not my favorite, but I wouldn't really consider it a dud. I mean, it isn't to my liking, but I mean, I recommend pretty much everything aside from the eyeshadow. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe, follow me on all my social media. All the links are below, as well as all the products I've talked about today. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day.